Unlike the arm, where we had an anterior and posterior compartment, the thigh has an anterior, a medial, and a posterior compartment. So let's look at the medial compartment of the thigh. And in order to do this, I need to remove the sartorius muscle, that we can see some of the other muscles in this region. Now, in this particular section, we can see the iliopsoas muscle, which is not really anterior thigh or medial thigh. Remember, this was made of the psoas major muscle and the iliacus muscle from the posterior abdominal walls. Immediately medial to that, on this model, we see a very, very small little bit of what would be a larger muscle. This is called the pectineus muscle. On this model, we don't get to see the pectineus, except for a small portion, because it is covered by the femoral nerve, artery, and vein. Then we see a fairly large muscle known as the adductor longus muscle. Adductor longus. This muscle is a strong adductor of the thigh. And there's a small triangle between this pectineus and the adductor longus, deep to that, where we can see just a small sliver of the adductor brevis muscle. Not well depicted on these models. Running straight down the medial aspect of the thigh is the muscle known as the gracilis muscle. It comes from the body and inferior ramus of the pubis and inserts via the pes anserinus tendon with sartorius and another muscle we'll learn in a moment into the upper anterior shaft of the tibia. There's one more muscle in the medial aspect of the thigh. It is called the adductor magnus muscle. Magnus means large. Adductor muscle, it's adducting, it's a medial compartment of the thigh. It's a large muscle. On this model, the model manufacturers didn't quite do it justice because they have fiber directions coming from all over. This is adductor magnus here. I know because they left the femoral nerve artery vein here. The artery and the vein pass through an opening in that adductor magnus to go posterior to the knee. So that's my dead giveaway that this has to be adductor magnus. I can see the artery and vein passing through the opening in that muscle. However, if I rotate this posteriorly, and I'm going to remove muscles of the posterior thigh so that we can see some of the other aspects that we need to see here. So I will remove gluteal and posterior thigh muscles. These adductor muscles, the adductor brevis, pectineus, the adductor longus, and the adductor magnus, all insert into the linea aspera, which you have learned is a feature of the posterior femur. So if I look at this model, this was adductor magnus, but so was this, so was all of this, and even this. So it can be very confusing the way it was done on these models. The artist that did the model had kind of the right idea, but was off a little bit. Now I know this is adductor magnus because of its insertion on the linea aspera, and I can see the vessels coming through the other side. So remember I said here, vessels went in the adductor hiatus. This must be adductor magnus muscle. Here they come out of the adductor hiatus, so this must also be the adductor magnus muscle. So to recap, muscles of the medial thigh: pectineus, adductor longus, adductor brevis, adductor magnus, and gracilis. With a few exceptions, these muscles are going to be innervated by the obturator nerve.